Hi everyone, it's Tarrant.
And Stella here from Meeple University. Thanks for joining us.
Today we'll be teaching you how to play Outrun the Bear. After this video, you'll be ready to play the game. Stay tuned. Let's learn to play Outrun the Bear, game designed by Samuel Barmettler and published by Around the Stump Games.
If our video's been helpful to you, then please help us making more of these videos by liking the video, comments below, and subscribe. For now, let's get to the table.
You and your friends were out in the woods having a nice, pleasant camping trip when all of a sudden you attracted the attention of a hungry bear. Now it's time to run for your lives. Equip helpful item cards to give you the edge, and other actions and reactions to ensure your safety. Players win or lose by themselves, trying to get back to the car and to safety, while trying not to fall victim to the bear's appetite. When the running is complete, all survivors win the game. To set up, separate the campsite and parking lot boards. Then shuffle and flip the remaining boards, take 3, and set up the track. Each player places a runner on the campsite, and then the bear is placed behind the first step of the track. Shuffle the deck of cards and deal 2 to each player. Choose a first player and then give the bear token to the last player in clockwise order. You're now ready to play. In Outrun the Bear, you are racing against the bear and, to some extent, against the other players. The game is played in rounds, and in each round, players will take turns in clockwise order to run away from the bear. After the player with the bear token takes a turn, you'll draw cards and then use them to resolve the bear's movement. You'll pass the bear token 1 step anti-clockwise and then continue playing rounds. A player's turn is resolved in 3 steps. First, terrain, then action, then draw cards. For the terrain step, you'll resolve the effect according to the type of terrain you're currently on. I'll come back and explain how these work later in the video. Secondly, you'll take 1 action, and you have 4 different options: crawl, sprint, play, and equip. When you crawl, you move 2 spaces in any direction, although you'll usually want to go forward. If you move into or through a space containing another player, then you treat it as if that space does not exist. So this player crawling from here could go 1, 2. Crawling does not cost you any cards. Your second action is to sprint. This does cost you cards. You must play 4 cards from your hand into any order onto the discard pile. Then move 5 spaces, according to the same rules as before. Your third option is play. Choose any 1 green action card from your hand and then play it face up into the discard pile, resolving the text on the card. Finally, you can equip. Take a blue equipment card from your hand and play it face up in front of yourself. This will now give you an ongoing passive benefit. You can only have 1 item equipped at a time. So if you wish to equip another one later, you must discard the one you already have. To finish your turn, draw up 2 cards from the deck. You have a maximum hand limit of 7, and if you ever draw above 7, you must discard down to 7. Play then passes to the player on your left. After the last player has acted, it's the bear's turn, and to do this, you'll first look at where the leader is positioned on the track and count the number of these bear claw icons behind that pawn. Here it's 3. You'll now draw that many cards from the bottom of the discard pile. Add up all of the numbers in the top left corner and then move the bear that many spaces forward. In this case, it's 2 steps. You'll encounter more and more of these claws as you move through the map, meaning the bear will speed up. If there aren't enough cards in the discard pile to do this, draw from the top of the deck instead. If the bear encounters no player's standee on its move, then that's it, the bear's turn is over. But if the bear catches up to one of the runners, it's lunchtime. The first player the bear encounters is eaten. remove that player's standee from the game, and discard all their cards and equipment. They are out of the game. This usually means only one player is eliminated per round, but two players can be eaten together if they're on the same row. All discarded cards, including those which move the bear, are now returned to the bottom of the deck, and the bear token is handed one step anti-clockwise. Play now continues to a new round, and the player who took the last action last round will take the first action this round. The game continues until all players have either reached the safety of the car or been eaten by the bear. All players who reach the car are the winners. Alternatively, the game ends immediately if only one player remains uneaten. The bear is now full and that player is allowed to walk to safety. If all remaining players are eaten simultaneously, then the bear wins. Now that we understand the basics, I'll go through all of the terrains and some of the effects you'll see on cards. Recall that resolving the terrain that you're currently standing on is the first step of each turn. If you are standing on a path space, then nothing happens. If you're standing on a river space, then you move one step forward. And if you're standing on a slippery slope, then, one at a time, you move one step backwards until you reach a non-slope space. Keep in mind that for these purposes, forwards is away from the bear and backwards is towards it. If you start on a bramble space, then you're not allowed to take the sprint action this turn. And if you start on a rest area and you have an equipment card in your hand, then you can equip that equipment card as your terrain effect, and this is in addition to the normal action you'll take on the turn. This bonus also applies to the starting space, and if you want to take the luck out of the start of the game, you can find all the equipment cards, shuffle them up and deal one to each player, so everyone can take advantage of this. We've already seen equipment and action cards, but there are also orange cards called reaction cards, and these can be played at any time, whether your turn, another player's, or the bear's, depending on the criteria of the reaction. Finally, keep in mind that Outrun the Bear is not a cooperative game. At any given time, you don't actually have to outrun the bear, just the slowest player. And the deck contains a number of different cards which you can play and use to make sure that that bear is going to munch down on one of your opponents rather than you. Of course, if you don't like the sound of that, there's also a cooperative variant where the players work together, aiming to get everyone to safety.
And that's how to play Outrun the Bear. We hope that you enjoyed this video.
We are using a prototype copy here of the game, and so the rules and components may not be final, and do check out the project page for the game. We'll put a link to that in the description below.
If you find this video useful, please help us by hitting that like button. Subscribe to us. You can also hit the meeple in the corner to do that, and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we have new videos. You can also follow me on Instagram for my board games journey.
Comments, suggestions and feedback are all welcome in the comment section below.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.